All right, guys, welcome to a very impromptu emergency Suicide Saturday podcast. It is a swapcast with some of your favorite podcasts coming together. We had a big Tinfoil Hat podcast show today in St. Louis. St. Louis, you showed up and rocked, and we were nice enough to have people join us. We are in my hotel room doing a very special episode. Joining us is one of my favorite people on the planet. He's got a great podcast. It's called Conspiracy From the one and only fucking Jeffrey Wilson, everybody.
Damn, dude. Thank you, my man. Sam Tripoli, the place to be. It was awesome over at Helium, dude. That was a little out of my element, but the love
crushed.
was that love was definitely there, dude. And I want to thank you for allowing me to jump on the horn and do the damn thing, dude. And you know, with today being today, dude, Suicide Saturday, we're sitting here
Saturday,
kind of post show chilling, and we definitely needed to jump on and just at least have a conversation about this day because
joining us as well is a guy who did my podcast recently, changed the way I see some shit. Was super excited that he was nice enough to come down and join us. He's got the stand-up bug. We'll get in a little bit of that. He's the Christian whistleblower. Please welcome Jeffrey Daugherty, everybody. How are you, dude?
Hey, Sam, Jeffrey, it's a pleasure to be with you. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with real pros like yourselves. And today, Sam, you made a statement that I think will prove itself over time, that this is one of those days like 9/11. This is one of those watershed days where people are going to look back and say, okay, this is the day I woke up. And just for the record, let me state that even though we are in Sam Tripoli's hotel room, we are all fully clothed, ladies and gentlemen.
There will be no video to prove this, so I disagree.
I was going to say I need to go ahead and make
Nuts
some
the
adjustments.
butts, as my fucking Del Rey friend always says. We are, and who's doing our audio?
Ken Calcaterra, dude. I'm an exceptional freaking visual artist. Ken Calcaterra, Conversations with Calcaterra. Shout out your website, my man, if you don't mind.
KenCalcaterra.com.
Yeah, how do you spell that? Because we're all retarded. I flunked first grade. I can say that word. I am retarded.
CALCATERRA.
Thank you, Ken. We appreciate
an awesome production quality. This guy, really locked down the city of St. Louis, man. A lot of bands, a lot of local artists, local heavy hitters, man. Ken Calcaterra, regional Emmy winner as well. A great friend of mine for many years, man. I'm thanking him for throwing this together. He came through the show tonight, but since he is a professional like he is, also brought the gear so we can be doing this here in the room tonight, though. Shout out to my man Ken, dude.
So this is obviously a very important podcast. You guys have been calling for it. We had to get to St. Louis, so here we are. We're in the mix. Today, I said this before. I said that there will come a day where it will be like 9/11, where you had September 10th, one reality, September 11th, another reality. And even though it wasn't quite what the instant that the situation I thought was going to be, which was going to be the release of Hillary Clinton's snuff film that we've talked about, I feel like today compared to yesterday, like what's today, August 10th? August 9th was one reality, and then August 10th, we are in a different reality. I think this is the greatest red pill moment in conspiracy history.
And you called it on our podcast that I just did with you. You said one day in August it's going to be the 8th or 9th, whatever you said. The next day it's going to be the 10th, and it'll be a whole new world. Sam Tripoli, you called it.
Jeffrey, you've been getting this a lot that we called all this shit. I think you only see it as this kind of incredible call if we haven't been watching this play for a while. This was in the cards.
But dude, as I'm laying in bed, man, my phone just blows up of just people like, man, you called it. I didn't call shit, man. We all knew this. This is like, hey, the sun's going to come up tomorrow, because we knew, just recognizing the depth of Jeffrey Epstein and all that he's involved with, dude. Like, we know this goes beyond, Bill Richardson, the governor of New Mexico, former U.S. ambassador. I mean, this encompasses so much, dude. And it's almost, we all knew he had to die. There's no way that this guy could be allowed to live and go and testify because of the depth of the evil that encompasses this whole Epstein thing.
We'll get a little bit into that, but there's assumptions by you that he is dead. And we're going to get into that because
For sure.
there is some shit.
They came out immediately.
That he may not be dead.
Yeah.
And there's as much evidence saying he might be still alive as there is that he is dead. I mean, we have one picture of this guy. Let's set the scenario up, okay? So, as you know, there was a blackout in New York City.
A few weeks
And
ago, yeah.
the joke amongst everyone, even people who didn't believe in conspiracies, was the Clintons were trying to kill this motherfucker. And it was a running joke. And then we find out 7 days later that there was actually an attempt on his life during that fucking blackout. I mean, we had called this shit. We had told you how important this is. I had told you that this shit has been, I mean, like, dude, it is playing out the exact way we wanted it to, or we thought it was going to, in terms of, like, when Hillary has an email which states, we have to stop this motherfucker. If he gets elected, we're all going to be hanging from fucking nooses.
Yes.
This is what she was talking about. This Jeffrey Epstein shit. Because she knew that Jeffrey Epstein and fucking Trump were at war. Over what? Over a real estate deal. And when they never gave you the details of, you remember they were floating out, because everything was about Trump's financials. Well, like, what is it? How much money does he really have? And how he's fighting them getting out, and people are fighting getting them out. And I always said, well, I think there's probably something there. And then it came out that the Deutsche Bank, is that how you pronounce it? Deutsche Bank fucking gave him a loan they should have gotten. And they never told you what that loan was for until after the arrest. And the loan was basically for a real estate deal that fucking Trump backdoored Epstein on. And he bought it. Epstein got pissed, and Epstein was like, hey, dude, I'm going to fucking let everybody know you're broke, motherfucker. And that's where the investigation of Epstein's fucking pedophilia starts. Trump
Can
actually,
I ask a question?
Yeah.
Does this point to a breakdown in the efficiency of the dark left or the dark state, that they staged this blackout in New York? They can't get the job done the first time. And then I guess even when Epstein is at the time where they said there was an attempt made, but they didn't get him that time, and they got to do another thing here. It took them twice to get him. Are they breaking down in their efficiency? Is the Clinton killing machine low on oil?
That's a great question, dude.
I mean, that is the assumption that it has to all deal with the Clintons or the Trumps. This is, I mean, Epstein in his existence belies a very deep that goes beyond the narrative that we normally talk about. The right, left, you know. I can say it, you know, I'm going to write a book. It's all wrestling one day. Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker in WrestleMania. We want to couch it in this binary thought process. But at the end of the day, dude, this rabbit hole goes so much deeper than this. This has been going on for decades. This gets into, I mean, just some very esoteric stuff, man, going back to,
I mean,
you know,
dude,
Project Paperclip.
this is more than
Jack
decades,
Parsons,
bro.
and I mean, it goes very, very deep, man.
I mean, like, it is decades when you put, but I mean, there's a good chance that Woodrow Wilson was blackmailed.
Well, we know that.
He was
You were on
blackmailed.
that Swapcast.
Yeah.
where we
Some
had,
studious history shit right there, folks.
1913, we're talking about the, you know, this cabal that is still powerful today, making us have the Federal Reserve.
We were a part of the Swabcast with James Corbett talking about World War I. It was called the Milner Group, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
For everyone who wants to talk about conspiracies aren't possible, you're talking about literally the same amount of people almost we have in this room. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 guys that literally engineered a war over the course of several years that killed 20 million plus people. So people who don't think like there are just selective engineers of society, dude, history proves otherwise.
I mean, dude, just take a look at our media right now. We have 4 groups that own 99% of the media. 4 people. It is not that hard to control the message when you own everything. When you take meetings in LA, they're like, what we're looking for. You know who we are? The fucking bosses that told them, hire these fucking people. I mean, it's not that. Dude, Sinclair Media. I love how that fucking story got swept under, where that one company that, and I always said, the real damage is done on a local news level. That's where a lot of the propaganda is being done at. And you know that most of those local news stations are owned by one giant corporation.
Well, and we saw that in that clip from Sinclair Media,
Yeah.
where literally from your national bigger markets to your lowest markets, that literally were regurgitating the very same narrative and the very same story. And they were literally just reading from the same script. If you saw that video, it broke it down into like every different kind of local venue. And it was, again, and, I say this oftentimes in the show, and I'll repeat it again, man. Once you control the narrative, you thusly control people's perceptions of what's going on. And like we said, when you have very few companies owning so much of what we see, whether it's internet or TV or periodicals, newspapers, they're controlling the narrative and thusly controlling how we perceive the world.
Right.
Unless you go a little deeper with what we do, and of course we're crazy
That's
conspiracy
why
theorists.
our podcasts are so important.
Yes.
Guys like us that aren't bought, guys like us that won't be bought, bringing it from the heart, from the mind, for real. We got to keep going. You got to keep supporting these podcasts. And I think, folks, we are just getting started. The next 5 years, maybe the most exciting half decade in hundreds of years to be alive. And I'm glad to be alive with Sam Tripoli and my boy Jeffrey Wilson, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there we go. Boom.
And Ken.
Yeah,
in the house.
Ken
Too.
Calcaterra, baby, visual
I'm telling
storyteller.
you, dude.
I mean, honestly, after days like today, Sam, you said it, man. In one of your tweets, I follow you all the time, of course. You're my boy, dude. This was a mass red pill what people got hit with today, man. There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah, it is we'll say again, it is the greatest red pill moment of all time because the narrative had gotten away from the powers that be. And here's the thing, dude. If they could shut down the internet without completely exposing that they're doing it to control us, they would do that. The facade is everything. The facade of freedom of choice is everything. Once that goes away, they're fucked. So it's got to be incremental that they.
But
take
bro,
it away.
look what just happened, man. Even before the El Paso shooting, the FBI, and I mean, I don't know if everybody's seen this actually verified, but the FBI put out a statement of anybody on 8chan, anybody with certain conspiracy theories are potential domestic terrorists. And I can vouch for everyone in this room. We're not going to fucking engage in any terrorist activities.
Yeah.
We're just trying to exchange ideas and
I'm a
critically
terrorist
think.
of love.
But exactly, bro. That is I'm trying to do all night long.
But we are going to blow some shit up. We're going to blow this dominant paradigm up. Let's be straight
And that's
about
what
that.
I'm talking about, dude. But look at what happened, dude. After the FBI released that statement and about 8chan, etc., look what happened. The El Paso shooting happened, and he was supposedly had released his manifesto on 8chan, which was not true. He originally fucking posted that shit on Instagram. But this weaponization of kind of this kind of false information, and now creating people like you, Sam, the fucking Tinfoil Hat podcast, me, the Conspiracy Farm podcast. We are potentially now domestic terrorists. I mean, this is some Orwellian shit, dude. Yeah. The thought police is on us and trying to hijack how you're supposed to think and what is supposed to be good or bad for you as a grown-ass adult.
Well, also, take a look at the use of Yahoo. It's a very interesting brand that seems to be breaking this conspiracy news. And for me, if you go, why is Yahoo doing this? Well, Yahoo is a brand like MySpace that had a lot of clout that has no clout right now. And if you take a look at Google, you take a look at Facebook, you take a look at Apple, these are brands that have humongous fucking, I mean, they're worth a lot of money, and they've been, maybe not Apple in this instance, but YouTube, like Google, Facebook, taking huge shots right now financially from engaging in this move to demonize conspiracy theorists. Like, it's cost them billions of. I mean, Netflix is another one. Took 150,000 subscribers they've lost. Dude, that's billions of dollars that we're talking about, dude. So why is suddenly Yahoo doing it? Well, Yahoo is done. It's stuck. It's stick a fork in it, but it still has name credibility. So now you have Yahoo putting out everything. So people stop listening or doing anything with Yahoo. Guess what? Nobody was doing it anyways. When you see someone with a Yahoo email, you go, what the fuck is wrong with you? You have a Yahoo email. It's like it's very specific why this thing comes out of Yahoo. They did a podcast that pissed me off. Conspiracy Land pissed me off for two reasons.
That's what
One, it was obvious propaganda.
Yes.
Two, is they took the coolest name for a podcast, Conspiracy
Right?
Land. That's a cool ass fucking
it.
name.
I like the Conspiracy Farm way better, but I feel you, dude. It's almost like Candyland and shit. But no, I mean exactly. I mean we had this conversation off air and shit. I mean we could breach it, but it's just like, as much as they tried to demonize conspiracy stuff, even going back to like, whatever progenitors of it, Alex Jones, et cetera, man, we're just critically thinking, man. We're just going against the grain on what's actually being spoken out there in the mainstream media, and they try to weaponize that. Look what happened to fucking Julian Assange. Dude, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't a Russian fucking hack. It wasn't a Russian any of that shit. It was this cat. His name was Seth fucking Rich. Yeah. He was a Democratic operative for many years and happened to be working for them. And through the digital forensics, we know it wasn't a hack. So the fact that people keep perpetuating that bullshit, we know it was just a leak through a jump drive or whatever it was. But I mean, we just double down on horse shit. But I'm telling you, man, things like today, we're just slowly breaking the ceiling, dude, on the people who were just like, no, there's no way this could be happening. There's no way Pedogate could be real. There's
Papa
no
Mine's
way.
like champagne bottle. Did you?
So Sam and Jeffrey, how the hell does a guy in a federal holding facility, top-notch surveillance, crack security, on suicide watch, how the hell does he kill himself?
Welcome to That's the Big Puzzle.
The same way a fucking 36th president of the United States could be had his head blown off in broad fucking daylight, sitting next to his wife, throwing back to the left, and then saying it was a shot from the back.
It's the same way a building falls at free fall speed, with things called pillars that are there specifically to stop all that. That's how it happens. But this is even more insane than anything else. Because, I mean, like, you're talking about a man in a fucking supermax facility with people who are paid to make sure this does not happen.
Because he just tried to do it a week or two before.
Just think about how brazen this is. Like, this has to be like, fuck it, we know this is going to have the worst optics ever. I mean, besides a guy running a pedo island, worse optics than that, man, but we got to fucking do this. And, like, here's the thing that we've been talking about. I say everybody watch for this facility and start watching for how many people get suicided at this fucking facility. And now the whole thing is like people, I mean, dude, because they get rid of witnesses all the time.
Dude, look at what's been going on in the New York Police Department for the last, year and a half. The police officer who apparently saw the Wiener laptop and was so grossed out, he wound up dying. And all these different upper echelon New York detectives, et cetera, killed themselves. This guy on the dance floor in Austin, Texas, who was, among other things, investigating white-collar crimes in finance stuff, including the Clinton Foundation. He shoots himself on a dance floor in Austin, Texas. Like,
no video of that anywhere.
Well, and they said specifically, like, everybody shut your phones down, like, nobody... and you don't even, this particular individual, his sister was also implicated and indicted for a murder for hire scheme in New York City, but whatever. The link between these people who have seen and been exposed to the laptop with Wiener and just what's going on in the New York Police Department in general. And then, I mean, come on, dude, something is afoot here because we got our dude. I mean, fuck, man, we talk about it all the time. There is a black market network of economy that goes through this country and throughout the world. It's people, it's people's body parts, it's guns, it's drugs, and this is exactly what we're dealing with right now, like child trafficking, human trafficking. This is a global fucking network, dude. This is in the billions and trillions of dollars, and it's been that way. And this individual, Jeffrey Epstein, though he might be removed, there was another person to fill his place. And that's why I said today that Ghislaine Maxwell, she better be watching her six because she was right behind this dude. But for every Jeffrey Epstein dude, there's another one to pop up. But we have to get, dude. It's not just this dude in his own particular proclivities with young women or whatever. Dude, this was a fucking global network that went from politics to Hollywood to sports. You fucking name it, dude. Sandusky or whatever was at Penn State. It's just scratching the surface, dude. This is global.
Do you guys remember there was a something came out that said that there was a $100 million fucking bounty on Jeffrey Epstein's head? Think about that,
guys. This reeks of either desperation or brilliance.
Yeah, maybe
or
both.
A combination of the two. Absolutely,
you can be both brilliant and desperate in these things. I mean, and I know everybody. I wouldn't doubt if Hillary's like, I would love to take credit for this. I'd love to put this on my body count. There is a chance this is above her.
What if this is another part of the art of the deal playing out?
I mean, that's the whole thing.
As far as what? What do you mean? What do you
that's
mean?
a Trump reference, right?
Oh, okay.
It's a Trump reference, yeah.
I mean,
these two we just finished speaking before, or was it during the podcast or before we went on, that Trump and Epstein were at war?
Yeah.
Trump sees Epstein as an asset. Okay, Jeffrey, you've been sitting there chilling for a while. You know that we're at each other's throats. Let me come to you, and I'm just speculating. Let me come to you and say, hey, look, you're in a bad space, Jeffrey. How about if you give me a bunch of information that I want, and maybe we disappear you and you go back to an island somewhere. Of course, you're dead as far as the world knows. Or is it Hillary Clinton in the long arm of Bill and Hillary? I did not kill that man. Something like that.
Well, I mean, it's very, first of all, how funny are all those fake Twitter accounts that were like, you know, hey, sorry to hear about the upcoming suicide of my good friend, you know, and then all of a sudden plays out. It's very interesting. A lot of people want to, we'll get into the Trump angle real quick, but I want to kind of talk about, like, there's another player in this that nobody's talking about, and that's Queen Elizabeth, and that's a real ass shit.
Potentially, for sure, because
Prince Andrew, no, Eric or
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew was named by Epstein.
Yes.
Which one was it? One of the princes.
Andrew.
Prince Andrew. Dude, that's some real shit right there. You don't fuck with mama's fucking family.
Old school
and that's just scratching. Those guys have been doing dirt for such a hot minute, dude.
I mean, dude, they were found guilty in a court of law of 10, I believe they were Native Canadian children, disappeared, and they're the reason they're gone. Found guilty. A guy went to go arrest her. They fucking seized him, threw him in a hotel. A fucking mental facility, and pumped him full of drugs. He will never be heard from
But
again.
Sam, the Queen loves children.
Yeah.
She thinks they're delicious.
Yeah. Dude, she got busted with body parts, I thought, in her fucking refrigerator, which is probably not true, but still funny as fuck. You got Ann Coulter trying to tell everybody, oh, dude, they're not powerful at all. Dude, there's a reason why everybody takes a fucking knee when that chick comes through. There's a reason why dude, where's her fucking money coming from? Oh, yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, owning everything.
Dude, there is
it's
an
good
argument.
to be the queen.
There is an argument that she still technically owns all of North America, all of the UK, all of Australia, all of New Zealand.
A strong argument.
A strong argument. There is actually a belief that the make a deal for the 13 states. Wow, there's 13 fucking there's 13 family bloodlines, and there just happens to be 13 new states. Gotcha.
13 new colonies, yeah.
They made a deal with the royal family that the head of the family of England would get 20% of U.S. tax dollars.
Well, I mean, you go back, man. You like the Windsor family is not actually even English. They're actually Germanic, like the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. Like it's actually some old Germanic shit.
And that's who's like fucking at the top of everything. I mean, don't even get me started on Khazarians, dude.
Well, then like I said, you got your black nobility, dude. There's a lot of players at hand here. That's why I find it so fucking crazy. Like that El Paso thing when it happened, it was just like, oh my God, on all the cylinders. Like I said many times that we're gonna all be fighting on whether it's race, gender, fucking politics. it's like, oh my God, Second Amendment, man, we got to get rid of the guns, and this is all Trump's fault. And you got black folks who are like, oh my God, look at this, dude. They took him into fucking custody with no issue after he killed all these people, and Eric Prince fucking sells illegal cigarettes, and he gets choked out to death. Like, it creates all these divisive fucking conversations, almost like today, dude, when my phone blows up, and it's like Epstein's dead, which we all know what that is symbolic of. But people are just like, Trump did it. Hillary did it. Like, you guys, pump the fucking brakes, dude, about who you think did it. This belies as so much larger conversation that because we're so, like, caught up in our feels and our opinions just so have us, we're just like, we don't really want to get into the real issues and shit. Because God forbid.
It's going to be interesting to find out who made that call to get him off of Suicide Watch.
If that happened, or even after this, even if he officially is dead and he killed himself, or if he was disappeared, how long do you think people are going to keep digging at this, dude? I think it's a fucking wrap. Not to say this was the last hope, because like cats like you and I who fucking go on this pedo shit and for years have been like, you guys are fucking crazy, even though, you know, whatever.
I don't know if it's a wrap, dude.
I hope it's not. I seriously.
I think this is like the most desperate of moves they've ever made. That this was like, they did a move that they had to know would completely destroy the facade of that conspiracy theorists are crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Twitter today, I almost wanted to cry, like this amazing moment when, like, you know, whenever in a movie someone's been fighting for justice and then all of a sudden they just see everywhere everybody's demanding the justice they fought for. I'm not lying to you when I go, my entire fucking timeline was Jeffrey Epstein. There was no and not one of them was, hey, shit happens. Everyone's like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
This,
straight up, dude.
We've called them crazy forever. They're right on this. What the fuck is going on? I think that's an interesting fucking moment.
Epstein was going to be the biggest songbird since John McCain, and somebody had to shut him up.
And he already had been, but I mean, it's like at this point, it's literally, dude. We all fucking, bro, for weeks we've been talking about this, and we know like the death clock was going, and then like last week it was like, oh, or a couple weeks ago it was like they almost killed him or whatever. It was like, you know, they're coming from, and now that. You know, this literally almost this fucking fulcrum, this pivotal human being, Jeffrey Epstein, to all these names, the Black Book, etc. He's gone. So it's like, what now? Literally, what's going to fucking happen now?
Real quick before we get into that, I want to know, we'll go White Jeffrey. We'll go White Jeffrey. Where were you, Jeffrey, when you heard out that Epstein had gotten offed?
I had stayed up a little bit late last night. And I got up this morning. I'm getting ready to come to St. Louis to see the Tinfoil Hat comedy show. And I jumped on my computer real fast, and I checked my timeline, checked my YouTube. Then I went in and hit CNN, and I was like, Jeffrey Epstein dead. I thought, oh, am I on damn Babylon Bee or something? This is a parody. Yeah. But he was dead, and the first thing I said was, fuck. Yeah. I was pissed.
Everybody had that reaction. Do you remember where you were when you found out about 9/11?
Dude, I wasn't even woke when I found out about 9/11. I was laying in bed again. I sleep a lot, evidently. But my daughter calls me up and says they just Grandma says it's Armageddon. They flew airplanes into the Trade Center. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, man. Everybody remembers that. I think I'm going to do a movie called Where Were You When It Happened?
That's great.
Because everybody's got this crazy story. It's Roseanne Barr so far and Eddie Bravo have the two best stories. And I'll tell them, where were you when you found out, Jeffrey?
9/11?
Yeah, where were you?
Oh, fuck, man. I was living in Chicago, dude. My boy, Jason Reyes, Ray Gambino, hit me up. I think it was a text or something. Just like, are you watching the news? And like, I forget. I think by the time I had tuned in, the first one had got hit, but not the second one. So I was there for like the full Monty. And honestly, dude, I mean, I didn't know that was coming specifically, but I was hip to the whole Project to New American Century, all those writings that were written about, like, we need a new Pearl Harbor. I knew that these cats, just leading up to it, they were looking for a boogeyman, dude, and they found it on 9/11, dude. I mean, it was... They did
dude,
the damn
just
thing.
think of the psychological warfare that was done at that moment and like.
That's what has allowed things to go on to this day.
Yeah, and people go, dude, oh, what? The government's shooting up a Walmart? I'm like, dude, they flew either planes or drones or they hit with direct energy weapons. That's another podcast. But, into a building where some of the greatest financial minds were. And not just, fucking white guys. There was of all races and creeds, Jews, Muslims, Christians, and as we find out, all the players behind this, the fucking neocons, the Israelis, the Saudis, and now I've heard some Pakistani also in that.
ISI, of course.
They had people of their ilk in that fucking group, okay? In that fucking building, and they did not tell them to fucking not go to work. They let those people go there. So if you think that that they wouldn't get some kid MK Ultra with some brainwave shit and just have him go right in there and start light and then have other guys helping him out to get a giant kill rate, then you're a crazy person. I heard it. I was a valet. Guess where I was valet parking at? The fucking Standard Hotel, which later on has come out to be this fucking shady ass hotel that got busted for dumping a specific kind of acid that is used to dissolve bodies. The city fucking butts of them do it, which later on the head accountant and the CEO of the company die in a helicopter crash. Right? Like that's where I learned about it. And I stayed on at work and I go, why am I still working? Why am I here right now? This shit just went down, and I instantly knew something was up. And even though Eddie Griffin was a crazy person, and
Eddie Griffin the comic,
yeah, he would go up and do 3 hours right on stage.
3 hours.
Nobody He would bring an entourage of 10 people. By the time he got off, the room only had 10 people in it. But within that 3 hours, there was always about 30 minutes of some fucking brilliant shit. And he was breaking down why. He goes, this is an inside job. He goes, dude, NORAD, if your flight goes off like 3 degrees or something, boom, jet fighters out. Dude, these guys were just like fucking doing laps around the country. And
dude, if you listen to Webster Tarpley shit, there were so many simultaneous war games being played that were just like, you know what I mean? Simulating the very same things hitting the fucking towers. I mean, there's so much there, man.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we still double down. Even going back to the JFK shit, man. It's just like, we still double down on the fucking Oswald shit, man. There ain't no really fucking real truth coming from the club, dude. It's all doing the same shit they've always done.
I think it's two things. I don't think people are dumb. I think people are, one,
people aren't dumb. I don't think so.
They're trustworthy.
Yes.
And they don't want to believe that they are supporting fucking scumbags. And two, dude, they're scared to think that there's real monsters out there like that. So it's better to what's the old saying? It's like people prefer comforting lies over unsettling truths. That's exactly what's going on here. But I feel like today changes that. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like today was different.
It was definitely a pretty big watershed fucking moment because, like we said, we've been talking about Pedogate, Pizzagate. Does Hillary Clinton run a fucking pizza thing in D.C.? No. But we're talking about this global trafficking of human beings. And not only just that, if that's not even bad enough, we're talking about the ritualistic abuse of them, which goes into another larger esoteric conversation about the utilization of dark arts, et cetera, et cetera. But, I mean, this has been going on for a long time, dude. And like I said, even the body parts of people, nothing is as it seems, dude. And I don't try to just like stay in that world and just like it's all bad because, you know, even like tonight, man, meeting you for the first time face to face, me and Sam Tripoli. Yeah. We've talked many times on the phone, et cetera, but this is our first day actually meeting. You know, just like getting together with my homeboys, my homeboy Ken Calcaterra, my boy Jeff, who you just introduced me to tonight with the Christian whistleblowers. I mean, this is the love, the tribe, man. We got to keep it together.
It is a wonderful time to be doing what I'm doing because we are right. We've been right. everybody else would jump out. And I say the more the merrier. I mean, it's one thing. There's not enough conspiracy podcasts, in my opinion. And new ones pop up. I'll fucking do whatever I can to help your podcast to the best of my ability.
We need to be having these conversations, dude. We need to be having these conversations. Like, dude, like fucking, I was obviously so huge, hugely stoked to meet you and Eddie. But like, you know, when you went up on the stage and like I'm sitting here talking to Eddie and like, we went in just like I expected to go in with fucking Eddie. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we had an interesting conversation that we that could probably go hours longer. But I mean, dude, I just love contrarian thinkers, man. People who are just not necessarily just drinking the fucking Kool-Aid.
I'm not
the banana
here.
in the tailpipe.
Can I throw something out on that
Do
line?
it for it.
So I noticed something with President Trump, going back to Parkland.
Okay.
And I did some study on this, and I did some research on this. And Trump, and I'm a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming from back in my sales days, so it doesn't mean I'm trying to, mind screw everybody. But I listen to speech. I listen to patterns of speech. I listen to emphasis of speech. And if you go back to Trump, all the way back to Parkland, Trump was starting to hit on this mental health theme. And Trump is saying it's bad, but we have to remember it's mental health. These people are mentally ill, and he'll say it 3 or 4 or 5 times within 10 or 12 seconds. Here's my question. Is Donald Trump signaling to agencies in the dark left, in the dark state, that are involved in employing MK Ultra type mind control towards American citizens? Is he signaling to them, listen, I know that you're fucking with people's mental health and you're weaponizing people, and you guys can either stop it yourselves or I'm going to stop it for you. And every one of these shooters has been under high psychiatric care, psychiatric drugs, psychotropic drugs. They've been under mental health care. So if he can get to where these people can't get guns, he can eliminate the MK Ultra's stooges and MK Ultra's seeds.
Yeah.
Is he really smarter than maybe we even think he is?
Dude, that's the whole thing. It's like
4D chess.
Everybody, at least I have been, and some of the people I know have been reluctant to kind of be like, yeah, dude, this guy's smarter than everybody else. And we've been very reluctant because we've been burnt before. But there are things that we've talked about where it's like, this dude's playing on a level, and it might not just be him. He might be having some very smart people that are the ones who basically helped him get elected, fucking telling him what's playing out right now.
Yes.
But, the hiring of Acosta, which looked like the biggest fuck up, is actually the most smartest move we've ever seen. Because what it did, man, is it allowed he knew that the media was going to come after him on it.
It's almost like he's a time traveler, Sam Tripoli.
Right? So, dude, he hires Acosta knowing that this sweet deal was given, knowing that the media is looking for a reason to crucify him, and they're going to use that as a reason to say he's a bad guy. But what he really got them to do is ensure that that guy never left fucking prison. Now, here we are. Is he dead? Is he not dead? Now we're bringing back to your point earlier, White Jeffrey. Okay, that is this a Trump move to get this guy out of prison? Because what we've heard, out of prison into safety, a deal has been made, right? We've heard that's what's going on with Julian Assange, that he is actually not going to be tried or anything, but this is the way they could keep him away from people that would off him. You have to have a lot of faith in this shit to want to believe that, right?
Hanging out on the island with Bruce Lee and Jimi Hendrix and
Right?
back in the day, that was kind of the thing,
right?
But Ken Lay, he was huge part of Enron, and then all of a sudden, right before he's about to get indicted or go to trial or whatever, he went up having a heart attack. I mean, it's the Federal Witness Protection Program is real. We don't know if these guys fit that criteria.
But
but
he's in a witness protection program.
I know. I'm just saying
they will.
We do know that
down.
exists. We do know. Yeah. Unless they fuck up like Henry Hill and just like you just can't stop fucking up. Like, when that's part of what put him on blast when he was thrown into the
dude, they
correction
have to be
program
like,
in Nebraska.
dude,
He just kept
if
fucking
you
up.
fucking touch one kid, you won't even make it to trial. You'll be dead before you fucking even get done fucking that kid. Okay, but is this a way to get him out of the system? I mean, because let's break down what happened here. This guy was in a Supermax, and we've seen, like, someone sent out a picture.
Is that a Supermax? That Federal Bureau of Prisons little spot in Manhattan?
Yeah, they say that's like some kind of fucking super high end.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. And
I called them today, dude. I literally got on the horn with them today. I'm like, hey, man, are we going to get a press conference? And
you
they
did
were,
that. That
they
is
were
amazing.
Quite rude. Well, fuck, I just, wanted to, dude, I'm telling you, when I heard about this shit this morning.
Tell them what you did.
I was not pleased, dude. When my phone blew up, dude, and I work late, dude, so my fucking phone blew up. And I'm just like, God, did somebody die? Like, my thought was, I'm like, did like a family member die? Like, I have a brother going through some health shit, and shout out to my boy K-Dub. He's doing very well. But it's, I was just like, holy shit. So I checked my thing, and it was like, Epstein dead. You called it Epstein dead. And I'm just like, fuck, dude. He's the apex of all of this, man. He's almost at the fulcrum in knowing where all these bodies are fucking buried. So I was just like, oh, somebody, if he's on suicide watch, and that just is a term to all of us, but suicide watch means they have fucking certain temperature gauges as to if your body goes below a certain temperature, you can't lay a certain way. There's, 24-hour camera surveillance. There's no way this guy should have been fucking who committed suicide on suicide watch. Like I said, my little bit tonight, that's like a lifeguard sitting back watching a kid drown right in front of her, like, oh, this little fucker's not staying afloat too well. Like,
Well, it's kind of like suicide watch is they watch him commit suicide.
Yeah.
But it's like at the end of the day, like these guys, whoever it is, whether it's the feds or the state, they have some explaining to do, dude. How did this happen? This gentleman is on suicide watch, dies of suicide, who just attempted to commit suicide 2 or 3 weeks ago. We need to see some video or something.
24 hours
so to answer
after.
your question, I called them and I said, yo, I just said I was with press or whatever, because they just asked questions like, you with press? And they shifted me around to all these different outlets. And the finally person I talked to, 2 people I talked to, I'm like, do we have any information on a possible press conference to explain the whole Epstein situation? And they're like, hey, I'll transfer you to somebody. And the dude I asked that question to after he transferred me hung up on me. So I couldn't get any answer as to whether... But they said, I want to find today, there's going to be no body, and there's going to be no press conference as to what happened.
There's going to be no body?
Yeah, they're not going to present anybody. But at the end of the day, what they said today is he didn't just die in the jail. They took him to a hospital, and he was proclaimed dead there.
By the way, that's the same shit that happened to Seth Rich. He made it to the hospital, and they fucking
people need to
that
go hit up the hospital to get some paperwork on it, because it's like they can't just bury it, dude. Who was presented in that particular hospital declared dead? If it was oh boy, then it's oh boy, and somebody tapped him out.
Okay, it's gonna
Will
be
we
like
see an open casket funeral for Epstein?
no. Dude, I think they're gonna cremate.
Yeah, I was
that
gonna say they'll
motherfucker.
cremate him. Fuck yeah, dude.
They'll cremate
Which
that.
is even
motherfucker.
another red
Osama
flag.
bin Laden. That guy. He's in the water.
While they pass red flags on us for saying weird shit on the internet, we can't but notice these red flags of like, what? The camera didn't work? What? You're going to cremate him?
Yeah.
What? There's no video? Like,
here we are. Our what is this? The third thing now in the last 2 years that major events in fucking high-end facilities. Now, I know people think I'm crazy saying that about Walmart, but I mean, there are cameras everywhere in Walmart. And again, magically, cameras weren't working.
all we get is this like
Vegas.
8-bit grainy fucking, 70s porn video type style. It's like, give me a break, dude. You're exactly right, dude. Everything is on camera anymore, but all we get of this cat, and then there's no word of the other 3 individuals who, I forget the name of the woman, I wrote it down, dude, but her and her daughter, they saw 3 or 4 people walking in, and that completely got buried.
Jeffrey, what do you got against 70s porn, bro?
Yeah.
There's nothing against 70s porn, but I'm just saying, when you start talking about that analog VHS shit, unless you done clean the heads on your VHS player, you're going to see it all
You
grainy.
can make Ron Jeremy commit suicide.
No,
Yeah.
dude. I love me some Ginger Lynn, son.
Yeah,
Come on now.
dude, who doesn't? Those girls were trailblazers,
Dude.
dog.
They were.
Tori Wells, dude. I heard you guys like dropping a top.
Tori Wells, in my opinion, top 5.
Dude, straight up.
Christy
And
Canyon.
Yeah, do you know
Christy
she's
Canyon-
Armenian?
I don't
Is
care
she
what
really?
she is.
She's Armo, dog.
I heard you, Sam. You had dropped Tori Wells on there, and that's like such an old school gem. And I do Tori Wells
Because
dude.
she, in my opinion, was the first ever insanely hot chick to do porn. You're like, most of them look like they were out of options. You know what I'm saying? Like Tori Wells. I'm like, dude, you are next level hot. Why are you doing porn? And this was the beginning of. Now it's like everybody does porn now.
Right,
Like everybody's a porn star.
Well, and honestly, I mean, and I'm not patting myself on the back. It just reminded me of a bunch of chicks that I dated in high school who were like, you know, these kind of hot chicks at the hot high school who were like publicly like, no, I don't do that. But like when you get them at the crib, it's like, oh my God, you're on some Tori Wells shit.
Yeah, you're on some
It's a
Tori
beautiful-
Wells
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I feel really bad that I don't know who Tori Wells is.
No, you should, and you shouldn't. You honestly shouldn't. I mean, honestly, when Sam had said that, I was like, dude, that's not really deep, but I mean, like your Tori Wells, your Ginger Lynn. It's it's definitely what do we got? Okay, but I mean, yeah, you're good, dude. You're not a degenerate like Sam and myself.
Yeah,
That's all right.
dude. It's my
like my
level of
education was
porn star
incomplete.
knowledge is like
Today it's
but that's
Asia Akira.
Oh yeah, dude, she's great. That's a different podcast. We'll have a podcast. I know everybody's saying,
If you know Asia Akira-
talking?
You know what I'm waiting for? Conspiracy porn or porn conspiracy. Hot
They do that.
porn chicks talking conspiracy.
Oh,
there
dude,
you go, Sam.
dude, Asa Akira is a huge conspiracy theorist.
Well, dude, we need another tour.
Here's what's going on, dude. I think today, I mean, I know it sounds crazy. My brother called me up, and I had a little feud with my mother and my brother over this conspiracy shit. Like they got really mad, and my brother got really mad because he saw me flipping off the George Bush Sr. fucking statue in Houston, which I
remember I
will
saw
do
that. Yeah,
every time I see that fucking
Me too,
thing.
with both hands.
All right? I will flip it off for the damage that guy's
Could
done.
you pee on it without getting arrested?
I
mean,
might
that's-
actually take getting arrested and pee on it. I
I'm
might
with
do
you,
that.
bro.
But that particular. I remember when I saw that, dude. That is so very illustrative and representative of the kind of divide that's going on within our family. Just like George Bush was, whatever narrative, that mainstream narrative, without even kind of broaching into that other side. I mean, it's just the weird thing of people don't quite get the underside of politics. They think it's all so fucking Mayberry, you know. And it's like, no, dude, they're people just like us, and it's like.
Yeah, and dude, they've just been at the center of almost. I mean, they've almost been at like every single traumatic event that has happened from JFK on. The Bushes have been in town for every one of those things. They were there at fucking the JFK assassination. They had dinner with Hinckley's family the day before Reagan got shot, and the Bilderberg group was literally doing a gala with their special guest of honor, the Bin Laden. The Bin Laden family. You're like fucking with us at this point.
Well, that was the family that couldn't. That was the only family to fly out of the
right.
United States on 9/11 was the Bin Laden family.
That's when Trump first got my attention. Do you remember that debate? Jeb's up there, all low energy Jeb, talking about my brother protected this nation, and Trump says, "Excuse me, but wasn't your brother in the White House when the Twin Towers came down? I
Yeah.
wouldn't call that protecting this nation."
Dude.
I'm like, oh, this guy's for real.
Yeah, and
Who
it's,
said that?
Trump in the
Oh.
debate.
That's like, dude, people wanted that hot sauce stuff.
But he also said, instead of saying it was the dancing Israelis that he saw dancing, he said like the dancing Arabs.
Yeah.
So like, you know,
that's the whole thing. Like, listen, dude, we have hope against hope
We do.
because he is doing this shit with this pedophile shit. But then there's this Zionist stuff that we see him doing that we have to hope is part of this mind trick. Because if you fuck Israel, dude, or the military-industrial complex, that's a fucking long walk on a short pier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's
Absolutely.
not going to go long. So if you can hold that off for as long as you can, that is a hope. I'm not saying it's real. I mean,
no. That I mean, honestly, I mean, I know this is the third rail. No one.
I'm just blowing it up.
No, I mean that's the third rail. No one wants to fuck with. Like, by way of deception, thou shalt make war. It's like you're most effectively socially engineered when you don't even realize you're being socially engineered. And for this particular region in the world, where you would call them Zionists or whatever, right wing, it's not even just if I have an issue
neocon, Zionism,
exactly. But to qualify that,
Sharia law, it's all the same
I'm
shit.
immediately going to be called anti-Semitic. So if I have an issue with the Russian government, or Putin, I'm not anti-Russian. If I have an issue with the American government, I'm not anti-American. If I have an issue with the Mexican, it's the same with Israel. The certain aspects of the Israeli government have been a part of some wicked shit, especially as it relates to steering our foreign policy, dude. I mean, we start talking about 9/11. You cannot remove the Mossad, and
cannot remove the Mossad. When you
can't.
find out the Black Cube intelligence agency was in charge of security on that facility,
even just like I said, understanding who was in charge of the neocons, and even like your John Boltons today, your Douglas Feith, your Armitages, your Wolfowitzes back in the day. It's like, it's not about anti-Semitism. It's just like being adults and just recognizing this game. It's chess, man. It's not checkers. Let's just call it what the fuck it is, instead of just like making it seem like you're some evil person for just like, oh wow, here's what's going on in the world. And
well, that's identity politics. That's all.
That's
been
all
done
it
on
is.
purpose.
That's what I'm saying. And because we're so extremely tribalistic, like we defend our tribe, fucking, tooth or nail. Like we don't even like want to. Yeah, there's a lot to it.
That's why I've been saying black conservatives are the most fucking punk rock shit in the longest time, because they go out and they're like, fuck this narrative that we've been shoved down our throats. And that's why I fucking respect that. And then there's this woman out of New York who started this group called, Jews against Israeli occupation, all that stuff. And it's like, again, my girlfriend's a Jew. Her family's Jewish. I love them all with all my heart. I know many Israelis. They're some of the nicest people I've ever met. Like, dude, you cannot defend somebody you don't fucking know because they quote unquote are part of your tribe.
One of the rules of the Ronin, right?
That is the sickness that is passed down from generation to generation. Like I always say, my next door neighbor growing up, Tony, I'm not going to say his last name, but like at one point when we were kids, he came up and he goes, if anybody calls you a fucking, I forgot what the term was for Italian, a wop. That's it. If anybody calls you a wop, you fucking fight them. And I go, why?
The derogatory terms.
Why do I fight? Why? He goes, I don't know. But that's just what we do. And I go, that's the dumbest shit I've ever, even as a kid, I go, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. But that is what's going on. There is a fucking passing down of this fucking shit where people fight wars for shit they weren't even alive for. And they fucking fight it on, and they defend people they've never Listen, dude, I hate to tell everybody, but there were Jewish people in those fucking towers. And that these Mossad agents who lit it up with fucking explosives knew that.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a larger foreign policy plan. I mean, if you want to go, if people don't want to fucking really trip on it, don't trip on it. But look at the massacre of Deir Yassin. This went down before Israel was actually a state. You got individuals like Menachem Begin, who was unapologetically a part of Irgun, which is a terrorist organization. If you look at the massacre at Deir Yassin, you look at the fucking King James Hotel. I think it was fucking anyway. But they were like, you look at all of them. They killed Jews, they killed Arabs, they killed Americans. Menachem Begin, who was one of the tops of fucking Irgun, became the prime minister of Israel. I mean, so it's just like, you guys have to understand, dude. Look at Ehud Barak. God, who's the guy who died? Ehud Barak. Fuck. No.
Anwar Sadat?
Not Anwar Sadat, dude. He had a stroke. Anyways, he lured over
you're talking about Sharon? No, the guy who was like, one day he's like, dude, the Palestinians, this is an occupation, and the next day
that's Yitzhak Rabin. I think
Yasser Arafat.
No, fuck. Anyway, he wound up having a stroke, but he was a part of like genocide that happened in Sabra and Shatila. But my point is, like, no one wants to point out these like wicked things that went down by one of our biggest allies in the Middle East, the same as fucking Saudi Arabia. Like one of the owners of fucking the UFC, Ari Emanuel.
Yeah.
His dad was part of Irgun, he's brothers with Ari Emanuel, or Rahm Emanuel in Chicago. Like, their dad was one of the heads of Irgun, the fucking terrorist organization that did all this shit over there. I mean, whatever. It's just what it is, but no one wants to call that out. Everyone, I mean, it's all super fucked right now, how the narrative is, dude. Like,
You just did, bro. Called it out.
but I'm not the only fucking one, but it's always this secondary. It's over here, we always hear, like, this Palestinian or whatever it is, blew up such and such. They don't talk about what events might have precipitated that.
Dude,
we're talking about cats with nuclear arms against cat with like slingshots and stones and whatever.
If you don't think Hamas could easily fit the whole fucking playbook of controlled opposition, ISIS, Al Qaeda, these are all paid for villains, dude.
That's what I'm saying. People don't do your fucking homework. Hamas was founded essentially by the Israeli government as a buffer for the PLO. And I mean, it's all chess, dude. It's not fucking checkers. Even Hezbollah, that's a Lebanese organization.
It's more like Monopoly because you're taking territories, right?
That's essentially what it is. But when the narrative is like, oh, they're just fucking terrorists, these kids are blown. It's just, we need to get real with the fucking conversation and the role essentially that Zionists have in running, the Trump organization, et cetera, et cetera.
We got 5 minutes left on this Power podcast. I'm
not a fucking anti-Semitic, dude.
Dude, you're not.
Semiticism literally means a group of languages that Hebrew is just one part of. You got Arabic and all this other shit. So they're hijacking the language. So
dude,
it's like,
I love Jews. I wouldn't know where my life would be without the Jews.
Well, you're a Jewish hill and you're one of my best friends.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm Armenian. I'm 99 censor Jew. Okay,
I know you're not.
It's just like, I love it, man. It's just that is a psyop done to create so people can't question a narrative.
Absolutely.
And it's dead. And it's like, you know what? Get at me, homeboy, because I ain't fucking playing that shit. The next fucking person I fuck over is the first person I fuck over. So that's how I fucking roll. I love everybody, dude. And that's not my line. I got from my favorite radio show on fucking 570, Petros and Money. The last 5 minutes, what do you think happens here? Black Jeffrey.
Not biracial Jeffrey, but
a lot of love in this room. Biracial Jeffrey. Listen, it can't be just black Jeffrey. It's got to be, I'm biracial.
So you see how it works? He throws it to black Jeffrey, and the white by Jeffrey just takes over like the white motherfucker always. No, but I mean, dude, Sam, straight up, dude, thank you for coming to St. Louis. Thank you for asking me to be, part of the show here tonight.
They have us back.
Of course they will, dude. Game recognizes game, but I woke up today hearing all this crazy news, and the work that we do, dude, it's so very thankless, and we're oftentimes told how fucking crazy we are, how we're off base, and I don't really try to suck my own dick about how fucking 100% right I am all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just a critical thinker, dude, and I'm trying to exchange ideas with cat like you, cats like everybody I try to come in contact with, even Eddie Bravo tonight, talking about how the fucking earth is flat, there is no space. I listened to my dude, man, and I didn't just shut him down, and I think we just need to do more of that, man, have more of these exchanges of conversations, have our opinion. Don't let our opinion have us. Be like fucking Bruce Lee said, man. Be water, my friend.
Be like water.
Be water, dude. So I love you, man. I love you so much.
That is what is a black belt in conspiracy. Not that you agree with everything, but you can hear it and your head doesn't explode and you run around like the sky's on fire.
No.
Okay? You want to come at me and tell me how you think Michelle Obama's a dude? I'll listen to it. Not my thing. I'm not into it. Don't believe it. But I'll listen to it.
Got Joan Rivers killed, maybe?
Maybe. It's possible. She was old as fuck.
She was.
And one slicing and dicing shit at some point. There's no more slicing.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, but answer the question. Well, how do you think it ends? What happens from here?
I think, unfortunately, I'm the eternal pessimistic, dude. I mean, I just never seen any accountability from any of this crazy shit that we know has been happening. So I'm thinking with this death, it's going to be swept under the rug. The NFL season is starting in fantasy football and keeping up with the Kardashians, and the same very shit that has kept us distracted forever will continue to keep us distracted because, with the death of somebody like an Epstein, who was the fulcrum, really kind of linchpin of a lot of this, and unless a Ghislaine Maxwell or somebody else gets indicted,
I think it's a matter of time she gets fucked
off. Or off. Like I said, the death watch is on her too. But unfortunately, I mean, as sad as it is, and that's what had me fucking in my feels all day today, this is just going to be another death that covers up some of the most wicked shit that we could possibly even begin to imagine, that will allow all of this madness to continue to transpire.
All right. White Jeffrey.
White Jeffrey here. I'm the
Whiter Jeffrey.
I'm the eternal optimist. And I worked for Pat Buchanan and Pat Buchanan's campaigns. Pat Buchanan used to say that the U.S. Congress was Israeli-occupied territory, and he was right. And the U.S. presidency was Israeli-occupied territory. Donald Trump was on the hook for $100 million, for it was $100 million personally to 12 banks. Personally. They owned him. They put him in the White House. I've been in Sheldon Adelson's house. That's a long story. They put him in the White House, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Tulsi Gabbard's boy.
But listen to this.
He's no bueno, dude.
What has Trump done? Trump gave the embassy back in Jerusalem. Trump recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. With all of their trillions, Adelson and his boys could not have bought those two things. I think Trump gave them those two things, and on the way out of the office, he says, oh, by the way, boys, remember that $100 million I owe you? It's done. It's over. I think Trump is clear and free to navigate, and this is the beginning of Donald Trump, 300-pound gorilla, kicking ass, taking names. Things are changing, folks.
Well, hold on. So what do you think changes? So he makes good with Israel, right? Or these banks, and we all know, I mean, I've said on the show before, I believe Israel is a fucking business transaction, fucking cloaked in a religious war. So what do you think changes? Does he go after people that maybe... Does he go after the people behind 9/11, which could include the people he just fucking helped out? I mean, do you think any of that happens?
Yeah, we can talk about this in another podcast, which I think we will. 4th of July, salute to America. That was a cleansing of dark entities out of Washington, D.C., cleansing of the China Lake situation. Those weren't earthquakes. That was a cleansing and maybe a physical military cleansing. The Epstein thing, we're seeing right now a bill, executive order being drafted to force social media to give a level playing field to both conservatives and liberals, or he's going to yank all of their privileges and their power. I'm telling you, we're about to see the gorilla come out of the cage, and it's going to be what we've always dreamed of is going to happen in the next 5 years. So.
I'm going to say something, man, and
I want him to pass with fucking smoking.
You know what?
Pass me with
Remember,
your smoking,
I said it. That's all I got to say.
Well,
Remember.
all I gotta say
and if
is
I'm
like,
wrong, I'll be the first one to step up. Like
I feel the
Sam
same
does
way.
and say,
I feel the same way.
Here's all I'm going to say. As much as I want to be with you, and dude, it is. I am having an organ reject as I'm just trying to say this. My body is having a visceral reaction to the thoughts I'm about to say, which is I agree. It is so hard to come to grips with that. This fucking political position of president is actually going to do something good. Because in our lifetimes, I mean, since I've been able to vote, we have had the worst of the worst as presidents.
Yes.
So it is hard for me to think there's not going to be business as usual. But I will say that there are things that are happening that I never in a million years would ever think was happening. That regardless of what you think about Trump, you can say with 100% fucking accuracy, never happened under Obama and never happened under Bill Clinton and never happened under fucking George Bush, which is this move to, even though this death happened today, this movement to fucking rid this pedophilia shit. I mean, whether it is fucking just, I mean, dude, Epstein represents a fucking movement of power structure. Now, whether there are 50 of him in the United States, which people have said there's more than just him. Whatever it is, this guy was the biggest of all that they got him, and something either happened. Evil died that day, or they got him out and it's going to be even nuts. But I will believe that this, with all my heart, that there has been some changes. I would prefer there be other changes. Endless war. Yeah. Selling arms to fucking Saudi Arabia and us just basically doing whatever Israel tells us to do. I wish those things would change, but I'm wondering if those things have to take time. And I'm not going to hold my breath on Israel. I'm going to fucking click my heels, and I'm gonna pray to God that. Or
I mean, these are Israel. I mean, honestly, it's the deep state of Israel.
Fucking the great black lesbian DJ in the sky, the British black lesbian DJ in the sky makes what he said come true. Because I want it to be true. I want what he's saying to be true. And I'm going to hope against hope. Just the way I hoped against hope when fucking Obama got fucking elected. And we thought, okay, we got another different dude in here and change is going to come. And change never come. I will always have hope.
But how many times are we going to go into fucking the day before WrestleMania like, I swear to God, I'm going to fucking beat the shit out of this wrestler. I mean, we do that every 4 to 8 years. We swing that pendulum like, oh, no, this fucker means it this time.
I don't want to live in a world where I don't have hope.
No, I get it.
I don't want to live there. So
but I think it almost to your point of like you talk about the simulation. How many times are we going to continue playing the same game? And like in war games, the best way to win is to not play. But we're all playing. We're all participating in the fucking game. So until we're really to be able to like convince folks like, no, this game is a completely manufactured game. This ain't worth playing. We're gonna keep playing it every fucking 4 to 8 years, and we're gonna have these conversations like, well, no. Obama said this, and he's that anti-establishment. And then 8 years go by, and like, well, hold on, Trump said this, and he's
but dude, there's things going on right now
he's
we've
doing
never seen
absolutely,
before.
Absolutely. But
to me, there's more.
But almost like David Icke said on your show and on when we had him, like, what's going on with the permanent state, if you will?
Right.
The same shit is still going on.
Yeah, but hold on. I will tell you, Jeffrey Epstein's blackmail thing is more the permanent state. And we have
It's like the deep state roster.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking
this has been going on for a very long time.
And dude, if this FISA shit goes forward, that is more of the... And dude, this 9/11 inquiry, that's a small thing started in New York, which is where Donald Trump is from. Right? And dude, when fucking Ted Cruz shit on New York and you saw fucking Donald Trump light that motherfucker up. And I'm not, dude, again, like, it's a visceral reaction as me going, believe the president. It's hard for me to say that. But I will say that there is more being done than we've ever seen happen before.
And I think people said the same thing when fucking Obama was in office. In my opinion, it's the same fucking train on the same tracks with a different orange.
And I can see that point too, but I'm telling you, dude, fucking Jeffrey Epstein, pedophilia, blackmail, Mossad Island, fucking the FISA fucking report.
But that's, again, the papers that came out yesterday, they said something about, Bill Richardson, heavy hitter. But that's low-hanging fruit, dude. They just gave us nothing. And then they killed the dude who was the fulcrum of the whole fucking thing.
Prince Andrew isn't low-hanging. Dude,
no, you're with it.
That's
with
a
you.
fucking royal family person.
What will happen now? Prince Andrew, Governor Bill Richardson, former U.S. ambassador to the fucking UN and all that shit. It's like, what will happen now?
Prince Andrew won't die. They're never going to.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying this could possibly be just a blip in fucking history of like everyone knew, and almost like the Awan brothers. Like if everyone's hip to the Awan brothers, these guys were running the hugest fucking espionage ring in Congress, and they get pinched trying to leave the country, but they get indicted for bank fraud, just bullshit. Nothing that they were actually really involved
when you get the
in.
Prosecutor's your fucking brother.
Exactly. Then people look into that because that was Debbie Wasserman's brother who prosecuted the case. But that's what I'm saying. It's all this inside baseball, dude. I've said this for fucking years now, dude. They're going to start pinching the shit that we know is existing, and they're just going to give us this dumb shit. They're just going to appease the masses with these low-hanging fruit.
Couldn't agree with you more, dude. I think there is some, but I just feel like even if like evil just reinvents itself for this one moment, I think what we have seen is an awakening like we've never seen an awakening before.
I agree with that.
And from this point on, I believe everybody watches with a skeptic eye.
I agree. Because like you said, your timeline blew up. My shit blew. I mean, dude, it was all like, holy shit, did you hear this fucker died? Like, whoa.
Yeah. How'd they get him?
How'd they get him?
It was so insane that they were willing to risk the whole facade being blown up to get this fucking dude or to fake his death.
That's what honestly really, really fucking incensed me. And I told you about this earlier on our private phone call. They know we know, and they're just rubbing our nose in it, and they just don't give a fuck. The more brazen and just kind of like out there they are with it, it's just they don't care, dude. They're really like, what are you gonna do about it? What the fuck are you gonna do?
For sure. Can they find all your stuff?
It's super simple. All of my heresy, all of my
Spell heresy
conspiracies.
because, dude, not everybody's a good speller.
One-stop shopping, the Christian Whistleblower on YouTube. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, very proud and happy to be here, and it's an honor and a privilege.
Well, I'm glad you came out, dude. People would love to see that you were in the room and they went fucking nuts and they loved your episode, and I'm glad it got traction with my people to find you.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what the point of this whole thing is, and I'm glad you came and hung out, dude, and hopefully we'll be able to do a show together.
Absolutely.
Where you can find your stuff, Jeffrey? I know this is on all of our podcasts, but in case...
No, that's all right, man. TheConspiracyFarm.com, man. Myself and UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich, we try to do it at least once a week. Time has been tight, man, so we've been taking some of our Facebook Live videos and turning them into shows. But yeah, we're continuing to do the damn thing, man. And, days like today... I've never been one like to run the victory lap. Like, see, I told you, but it's just about, just trying to awaken people, dude. And just the kind of recognition that nothing is what it seems, dude, at all. And when we say these things, it's not machinations of our own psychosis. When we talked about 2 or 3 years ago at Pizzagate, and it's how deep this goes. And even just, like I said, trading in body parts, trading in guns, trading in arms, our government funding proxy forces to destabilize shit in the world. Like, it's risk, man. This is chess. It's not checkers. So just trying to get people to sign a little bit more onto it.
I'm not playing chess. I'm playing whatever that game is they played in
Othello?
the cantina in Star Wars with the little fucking moving things. What's that like?
I don't know.
I don't even know. That's even higher than chess, dog.
Whatever it is, dude. We gotta step it up, dude. Get our shit together.
At Sam Tripoli, Tripoli, Tinfoil Hat Podcast, Punch Drug Sports. This has been fun, dude. I'm glad we could do this. I know everybody's been asking for this, and traveling made it. I would have loved to have done something sooner, but we were traveling. But the fact that we could knock this out, Eddie had to go watch. He had a fighter fighting in the UFC fights, so he had to go watch his student. And I respect that. But we had a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We might do a follow-up at some point as well. So I think things got a whole lot more interesting. I think you're going to be able to have a little more conversation with people about what's going on for real and not have organ rejects and people fucking staring at you like you're crazy. And I think the day is a little brighter, even though he's gone and we're worried that this is going to end it. But I think this opens up to people going, oh, fuck. Something else is going on.